The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Presidential candidate and Senator Manny Pacquiao backpedals from his earlier statement that he would send former First Lady Imelda Marcos to jail if he wins the election, and if Imelda's conviction on 7 counts of graft becomes final and executory. Pacquiao had earlier said that no one will be given any exemptions from jail time if they have been convicted by the Supreme Court. But now Pacquiao is saying that he may do some favors for Imelda considering her old age. Pacquiao says he could consider placing the former First Lady in a separate jail cell. And he also notes that aside from the Marcos family, he also aims to hold accountable all political families involved in corruption.
At hindi lamang ang mga Marcoses, pati yung mga pamilyang nagnanakaw dyan sa gobyerno. Unfair naman na ang mga Marcos lang din ang ano natin, no? Tayo kasi, gusto ko kasi fair lang. Papantay lang tayo, hindi tayo mamimersonal. Kasi ang atin dito, yung tama ang ipinaglalaban natin para sa kapakanan at kaunlaran ng ating bansa.
Political analyst Edmund Tayo says that if Senator Ping Lacson was to back out from the presidential race, it's Manila Mayor Isko Moreno who would likely benefit. Tayo told 1PH sa Totoo Lang that votes may transfer to Isko and not Vice President Leni Robredo, the runner-up in the presidential surveys. This is because Moreno is still the top second-choice candidate among voters.
Halimbawa, yung numbers ni Senator Ping, kung halimbawa man, talagang ang mangyayari ay yung pag-withdraw ng reforma ay ibig sabihin mawawala yung numbers ni Senator Ping, hindi natin masasabi na mapupunta yon kay VP Leni. The second choice always identified either Senator Ping or Mayor Isko. Ibig bang sabihin lilipat yung boto, at kung lilipat yung boto, baka kay Mayor Isko yon, hindi pupunta kay VP Leni.
The Unity Team continues to make rounds in Mindanao, with presidential bet Bongbong Marcos visiting Zamboanga City. To give us the latest on the ground, we now have Marlene Alcaide. She's reporting on the line from Zamboanga City. Good morning, Marlene. What do you have for us?
Yes, Charles. Good morning. Presidential candidate Ferdinand Marcos Jr. went straight to his caravan after arriving at the Zamboanga airport. Residents of the province warmly welcomed the candidate, despite the fact that their mayor, Beng Climaco, is batting for the tandem of Rosa or Robredo Sara. Yesterday, Vice Presidential Bet Sara Duterte thanked the mayor for his support, but insisted that she remains loyal to her running mate, Bongbong Marcos. The Unity will hold their campaign rally at the UG Summit Center this morning to try and win over the more than 400,000 registered voters here in Zamboanga City. Security is tight at the center. All bags are being inspected and prohibited items like sharp objects are being confiscated. Attendees are also not allowed to wear jackets or hoodies that hide their faces from plain view. Joining Marcos Jr. are some members of the Unity senatorial slate, including Jingoy Estrada, Win Gatchalian, and Harry Roque. They are currently waiting for Marcos Jr. to arrive here at the venue from his caravan. Tomorrow, Charles, the Unity will go on to visit Davao. Charles?
Thanks for that report. That was Marlene Alcaide reporting live from Zamboanga City. In other news, BPO workers continue to push back against the return to on-site work. This as those located at PEZA sites will be forced to report back to the office beginning April 1. Camille Samonte has the report.
As the country reverts to having almost no restrictions in place, the usual work setups are starting to go back to normal. But for some IT and BPO employees, going back on site after years of remote work poses several downsides. According to the Intercall Center Association of Workers, the on-site work setup endangers the safety of employees as well as their work-life balance. As the shift is expected to cause distress, some BPO employees are considering resigning.
In the early days of our group, this is the exact question. If matutuloy ang pagbabalik sa working on-site on April 1, magre-resign ba kayo? Yes, 155 votes. Undecided, 115 votes. No, 37 votes. Now, this is pretty much a clear percentage of the group sentiments, of BPO employee sentiments.
David of the Alliance of Call Center Workers adds that the work-from-home setup has been working and can possibly be done permanently.
We have proven that work from home works. And you know who agrees with us? Our employers, our clients can actually do this permanently as long as there are employees who want to work from home, then yes, they can and they should be allowed to work from home.
And with the rising fuel costs, PEZA Director General Charito B. Plaza pointed out that extending the hybrid work setup can help ease its effects. Around 1.4 million IT and BPO workers are part of PEZA, which means they enjoy tax incentives. The Finance Department said going back on site is not totally required, but those who will choose the work-from-home setup will not be able to acquire these incentives. The IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines already mentioned that there could be a middle ground on the matter.
Everyone has been working on a combination of back in the office and primarily at home. And I think there are certain distinct advantages to having this hybrid work model.
For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
The Energy Department says the sudden increase in fuel demand right after the pandemic, coupled with the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, are the main reasons for the massive price hikes. In an interview with News 5, Oil Industry Management Bureau Assistant Director Rodela Romero said fuel supply is tight around the world. And this was made worse by the current conflict caused by Russia. And she added that our suppliers get petroleum from Russia. Thus, while the Philippines does not directly import fuel from the country, we are still indirectly affected by its actions.
Lahat ng ginagamit po natin dito sa ating bansa, nanggagaling sa abroad. Unfortunately, yung pinagkukunan ngayon, may mga kaguluhan o geopolitical conflict. Sa simula pa lang po ng taon, kulang yung supply kumpara sa demand.
UAAP Day 2 heats up as teams battle it out on the hard court. Adamson University faces the UE Red Warriors in the first game, with both teams fighting for the first win in the season. To give us more details, we now have Marty Bautista reporting live from Quezon City. Good morning, Marty. What's the latest?
Good morning, Charles. Charles, collegiate basketball returns for Day 2 of the 84th season of the UAAP. First to tip off is the matchup between the UE Red Warriors and the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Recall that both teams suffered a defeat on opening day, so a victory today could be crucial to boost their morale. Defending champions Ateneo will go head-on versus FU for the second game, as the Bulldogs try to bark up against the force of Shawnee Winston of DLSU soon after. The last ball game today will tip off at 7 p.m. between the UP Fighting Maroons and the UST Growling Tigers. So, Charles, at the moment, both the media and live audience are still not permitted to be inside the Mall of Asia Arena as the league continues in their bubble-type setup. Ongoing still is the matchup between UE and Adamson, with Adamson in the lead and the score standing at 50-32 at halftime. Charles.
Thanks for that, Marty. That was Marty Bautista reporting live from Quezon City. And those are the top stories of this hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.